Good day, everyone. From me, Andre Viljoen, bringing you this week's Gateway News God Stories of Africa. First up, an inspiring story about a fruitful partnership between a primary school principal and a pastor that resulted in 54 grade 7 children getting baptized in the ocean recently. The foundation of success was laid 8 years ago when Amanda Msumpa started the Elu Fefeni Primary School in Motherwell Township in Gqeberha, formerly Port Elizabeth, and invited her pastor, Mac Haywood, to minister regularly to the grade 7 class, which he has done on a weekly basis ever since. Recently, the pair, who are both retiring soon, had great reason to thank Jesus for what he has done through their partnership when 54 of the school's 70 grade 7 learners were baptized in a gully at the seaside village of Schoenmakerskop on the outskirts of the city. Amanda said that her pupils are from some of the most disadvantaged areas in the city, and her vision has always been to introduce them to the Christian life and to equip them to help learners from other schools who are struggling with issues that threaten to destroy their lives. She said that she hopes that her successor as principal will allow her and Mac to continue discipling the school's grade 7s. Mac, who has led the Westring Full Gospel Church for over 40 years, said that while he is retiring as the leader of the congregation, he will not be retiring from mission work. He said that during his weekly sessions at the school, he has used a course developed by Christ for All Nations, which he has also been using successfully in Madagascar, where he has been involved in mission work for 25 years. He said that during his year with the grade 7s, he takes them through from creation to salvation. He said the Bible Society has very kindly partnered with them for years, giving a Bible to every grade 7 learner. This week, we also caught up with news of the OM mission ship, Logos Hope, which has been sailing down the East Coast Africa over the past year and will next visit Maputo, Mozambique, before embarking on a 5-port visit to South Africa early in 2024. Briefing Nelson Mandela Bay Christian leaders on Thursday, OM South Africa coordinator Francois Joubert said God gave them a theme for the ship's Africa mission. The theme is Our Story, God's Story. He said OM Africa leaders noted that we are quick to complain about negative things in Africa and easily fail to highlight amazing things that God is doing on our continent. He said Africa is a vibrant country and Africans are warm, strong, determined people who thrive on community. In 1960, there were about 91 million believers in Africa. Today, the number far exceeds 600 million. He said it is time for us as the church in Africa to acknowledge that God is doing something unique in our midst. He said statistics reveal that less than 1% of the church globally is involved in God's mission, yet every believer is called to be involved in a strategic place in God's mission. He said part of the ship's Africa mission, in partnership with local believers, will be to ask how we can, as Africans, tell our story, God's story, to the rest of the world. Early next year, Logos Hope will visit Richards Bay, Nelson Mandela Bay, East London, Durban and Cape Town in that order, before heading up the west coast of Africa. And finally, a story from Israel, where members of the Knesset, that's the Israeli parliament, evangelical Christians and Jewish leaders gathered at the Knesset in Jerusalem to pray for the nation, the citizens, Israel, Defense Forces, and the hostages. The Day of Prayer and Support for Israel was hosted by the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast team at the request of Knesset member Tatiana Mazarsky of the Yesh Atid party. Several current and former Knesset members have been trying to get the Israeli government to call for a national day of prayer and fasting. As that hasn't happened yet, they exhibited typical Israeli independence and organized their own prayer event with the team from the Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast director Albert Wexler, who served as the master of ceremonies, said Mazarski requested the day of prayer because she recognized that prayer is the most potent weapon we have, and we need to use it. All Israel News editor and evangelical Christian Joel Rosenberg, who shared a prayer at the event, said afterwards, "Don't miss what God is doing. Don't take this for granted. And don't stop beseeching God to set the captives free, according to Isaiah 61:1. We have literally witnessed a breathtaking series of miracles this past week with the release of almost 100 Israeli and foreign national hostages. Plus, negotiations are underway for the possible release of more. This represents huge answers to the prayers of millions of believers around the world, but only if we continue to humbly and tirelessly pray to the Almighty God of Israel and mobilize millions of more people to join us in praying without ceasing, will we see the rest of our hostages safely released. God is shaking Israel to its core right now. The Lord is our shepherd, but too many Israelis don't know him or have ignored him, thus exposing ourselves to the barbaric attacks of savage wolves. Only if we turn our hearts to our good shepherd and humbly follow God's roadmap to rescue and redemption and victory over our enemies that he lays out clearly and precisely in the Holy Scriptures, can we truly have any hope of success, much less long-term peace. Thank you for watching God's Stories of Africa today. Before you go, do please help us to reach more people and grow this channel. You can help by liking, commenting, sharing, and of course by subscribing and clicking the notification bell if you haven't done so already. God bless you abundantly until we meet again.